Welcome back to Launchpad EIC, where ambition meets direction. Today's topic is how to chase career success without losing your faith, values, and who you are. Whether you're in corporate, building a business, or still figuring things out, there's often a lot of pressure to separate who you are and your career. So this conversation is about why that doesn't have to be the case. Today's guest is Nader Anise, leader behind Copticon. Welcome to Launchpad, Nader.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So let's start with your story. Could you tell us a little bit about your background, your career journey, and what inspired you to create Copticon?
Okay, so my story, I am a lawyer, went to law school because my parents made me. I have two older brothers who are lawyers.
Wow.
And so, of course, God forbid, I can't be the black sheep of the family. So they're like, no, you're going to law school like a good Coptic boy.
Right.
It's either medicine or law school or either engineering or, the drill.
The top three.
Exactly. So I went to law school, really didn't like it so much. It wasn't my thing, but, I became a lawyer and thank God I did very well. But ultimately, I branched out into other businesses, marketing businesses, and then in 2017, I had the idea of creating the Coptic Chamber, which is Copticon is part of the Coptic Chamber. Copticon is our annual event. The Coptic Chamber of Commerce is the big group. And we officially launched in 2018. And I did it because, frankly, we didn't have one cohesive unit for Coptic Orthodox professionals and business owners and entrepreneurs to grow and refer stuff to each business to each other and to succeed. And so that's why we did it.
I think that's a beautiful story, Nader. Listening to that story, I'm sure as you've grown throughout your career, starting from being a lawyer to then building your own business and then even like helping other people grow their businesses, especially in the Coptic faith, was there any moment in your career path where you felt pressure to compromise your faith or values, or even like sense of identity as a whole in order to fit in and really achieve that success, that vision that you were going for?
Marina, the truth is we are tested continuously, all the time. We live in the world and, the world does some weird stuff and it's true and expects us to roll with it. And yes, I remember actually very clearly a story. I had a friend of mine who he was a colleague and he won his case and it was a big case. He was very excited. He was thrilled. And he was telling friends around him and his team is like, party at my house. We're all going to my house. And I thought, yeah, okay. I mean, that sounds great. Let's go and celebrate your victory. And I kid you not, Marina, maybe I take 2 steps into the house and I can smell pot like really strong.
Oh no.
And I could see people in the corner and I could like it was not the atmosphere that I was comfortable with. So I turned around and I walked out. And it's not that I was worried that I was going to do it because that wasn't my thing, but I didn't want to be in that atmosphere, even though they were celebrating, even though there were some, big lawyers there and some connections potentially that I could have made. That was secondary. That really didn't matter to me. I didn't want to put myself in an atmosphere that would really compromise what I believed. And so I just left.
When we're early in our careers, at least, we get nervous. And when you're right in it, you get very scared to make that decision. So can you walk us through kind of that thought process that you took that outweighed like, okay, yeah, there are opportunities here, networking opportunities, but maybe this is not my scene. I'm just going to leave.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the follow-up because you reminded me. Believe it or not, I went to a small school in New Jersey for undergrad.
Oh, did you?
I did. Are you in New Jersey
I
or
am. I
you're
went to NJIT. I just graduated
Oh,
from
okay.
there.
I went to Monmouth. It was Monmouth
Oh.
College. Now it's
Oh.
Monmouth University in West Long Branch.
Oh my gosh. That's a
Yeah, that,
beautiful school.
it is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, the same thing happened to me almost identically when I was in undergrad.
Okay.
So it was a party. It wasn't a frat party because I kind of would have expected maybe
Right.
that would have happened in a frat party. It
Yeah.
was just some friends getting together.
Okay.
And the guy who told me about the party is like, yeah, let's go. We'll hang out for a little bit and leave. I walk in, I mean, identical. And I could smell, I could see, I
You,
could,
you
and I
know it
said,
when you know it.
I knew it.
Hmm.
Although I was never into it, I knew it. And I said to him, I'm like, listen, I'm out of here. He said, what are you talking about? We just got here. I said, this is not my scene. Um, and he left. He left as well, which I appreciated.
Wow.
It's never easy to be the one who is against the world.
It
That
really.
that that lone wolf. And there's a great expression about Saint Pope Athanasius, who wrote the Creed, who was of the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah.
His nickname was Athanasius Contra Mundum, which means against the world.
Yes.
Because his famous quote was, they said, Athanasius, the whole world's against you, because he was holding on to the faith. To the faith. He said, the world is against me and I am against the world. And so Contra Mundum became his informal title, I guess.
Contramundum. I like that.
Yeah,
Coptics, when we're raised in our church, we are taught to be rooted and strong in our faith and to say no to the world and to leave the world. But when we're trying to balance both the world and succeeding in the world as we grow, but then also staying very true to that faith, we do get tested. And like you said, you're always tested, but it's nice to know that standing on business, basically standing your ground and knowing
yeah,
what's right for you, you can still be successful by doing so.
absolutely. And God will bless even more. God gives you an extra blessing. God gives you abundance when you're willing to take that stand.
Always.
Yeah, you get rewarded.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's switch gears then to a more positive way of thinking. Have there been moments where you've been open about your faith or values that ended up creating those opportunities for you to, opening doors because you were so open about your faith?
Um, yeah, actually, I remember an incident. Again, I was a fairly newly minted lawyer, and back then I used to use the library. See, Marina, back then there was something called
Oh,
books.
I,
Okay, people would use actual books,
oh,
and I
I
was.
wouldn't know.
I'm sure you guys wouldn't know, but and and so I went to the library and I was researching, and I had an Agbeya with me. And again, we're talking OG Agbeya. We're talking way back when it was a black cover with
Oh,
like gold foil, and it was printed by St. George Coptic Church in Brooklyn. They were the ones that made these Agbeyas. Yes,
whoa.
I'm ancient, okay?
No,
You
you're
don't
not.
you
You're
don't have
not.
to say it. I'll say it,
That's
okay?
the point of this podcast, to meet with executives, right?
Absolutely. No, no, I'm just playing around. But it's funny because I knew potentially it could attract someone's attention. Actually, it was almost on purpose. So I had it on the table by my law book, and God's timing or God's intervention. A lawyer walks by. He goes, "Oh, that's a really beautiful cover. That's really nice. What is it?"
Yeah.
And I told him it is actually the Book of the Prayers of the Hours by the Coptic Orthodox Church. Well, what's the Coptic Orthodox Church? And back then, as some people do now, they'll say, "Well, do you know what Greek Orthodox is?"
Yes.
They're like,
I've
"Sure,
experienced
I've heard of
that.
Greek Orthodox." Well, it's the Egyptian counterpart.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that always bothered me. Like, you know what? We have our own identity. So I
Right. And
told him, yeah,
Greek
right?
Greek Orthodox isn't even a sister church. We're similar in ways, but
Yeah, but it's kind of what people will understand, I guess.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's
Yeah,
why
it's a good
people
way
do
of
it.
connecting it
It's a
here.
good way, at least, giving them some idea.
Yeah.
But I told him we are pretty much, if not but one of the most persecuted churches in the world.
Oh yeah.
And we have the history to back it up. And he was like, really? I mean, why haven't I heard about it? And it was like, okay, I'm reeling him in. I'm pulling him in, seriously,
You're
because
telling the story.
it was intentional, and God worked some wonderful things in him. I'm not sure exactly ultimately what happened to him, but he had progressed. He had studied the fathers. He had studied the church. Like, he really, really
Wow.
got into it. And the interesting thing is, I know you're asking about leadership and business. He ended up referring me a case because we ended up,
Oh
becoming good friends.
my gosh, that's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So again, God takes the little that we have
Hmm.
and blesses it and helps it multiply and grow, because really we have very little what we contribute. Yeah,
I always attribute all of the success or anything good in my life to God and the blessings. It's all from God always. And
always.
I mean, and you're a clear example of that. So in our world today, like you said it in a nice way. Our world makes us do weird things. Weird is a very nice
Yeah,
way of
so
putting it.
articulate, Marina, right? I'm
Yeah.
so articulate.
But it does, and I think in our society, it's very hard to really stay true and start explaining your faith to someone who's never even heard of the Coptic faith, and it might
For
go
sure.
sideways or it might go really well, but just staying true to yourself and talking about that can open up a door like that and getting you a case. Like that is just a beautiful story.
It was cool. Yeah.
So, leading to our very last question.
That's it?
Yeah, I want to make
Uh,
this super
okay.
rapid fire.
All right. Okay.
I know my generation has a tendency to lose
You- the TikTok
focus.
generation.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
don't want to say yeah, yeah. So the goal of this podcast is really to be rapid fire, 10, 15 minutes, get the like, real life examples from what you guys went through as executives and how you got to where you are. So,
I love it. No, no, I love your format. I was just teasing. I think no, seriously, I think this is ideal. Like, give bite-sized pieces, they can absorb it and then move on. So
Yep,
that's great.
exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you. I know it's a little new way of doing a podcast. Most podcasts are a lot more longer form, but I think this is a better way of, tailoring it to the earlier in career that are my generation that
No,
scroll
it's
very
great.
fast.
Great, great, great.
So, for a young professional who wants to pursue a big career, goals like becoming a VP in big pharma, building your own company, or anything like that, what is some advice you would give them as they're starting off so early and they're being put in these, scenarios where they can end up being tested so that they don't lose their faith, how to take a step back while they're right in it and realize what is important to them and how they can still get to their goals without losing themselves?
It's a great question, and it's frankly, it's a big challenge. And part of the answer is in your question, which is basically to how to keep your eye on your goal, right? And not get distracted and not veer away. And I have two-part answer here, and I'll try and keep it short. In the monasteries, monks, especially the novices, are taught that if you walk out into the desert, you must keep your eye on the destination that you're going. Otherwise, if you take your eye off the destination because of the way the desert is and the sands are and the shifting, especially if it's windy,
Yeah.
you will lose direction like that. And you'll turn around, you look, you'll have no idea where you are. And so I want to sort of, use this as an analogy for our life. And we're talking business, so let's do the same for business. Even though I'm in business, I mean, that doesn't mean I take my eye off of Christ and I take my eye off of church, and I might be busy,
Yeah.
super busy. In fact, if you're going for those big jobs, as you were saying, you're going to be so busy. You're going to be under so much pressure. But in all of that, you must keep your eye on the goal, which is ultimately Christ, the church, your Bible, your communion, your prayers. Yes, you will have lots of noise, lots of incoming, as they say. Never take your eye off of the prize. That's number one. Number two, because of the time factor and because of the pressures and because of everything happening to you and you barely have time to breathe, I want you to remember this quote, okay? Don't sacrifice the entirety if you can't do the entirety. So don't sacrifice it all if you can't do it all, meaning you wake up late. If you're used to reading your Bible in the morning, but you can't, or you have an emergency phone call, you can't. Guess what? Read 2 verses. God will bless those 2 verses, possibly more than that whole chapter that you would read. So don't say, oh, I can't do it at all now. I lost my time. I lost my focus. No. If you can't do the entirety, if you can't do the whole, do part of it. If you can't attend the Sunday liturgy for whatever reason, work or other events, try and squeeze in a Wednesday liturgy or a Friday liturgy. Don't sacrifice the whole. Instead, do part of it if you can. And I think that puts you in a good position because you're still wanting to be close to Christ and you still want to do things that you grew up doing.
Right.
But if you start letting go little by little, that's the danger.
Right. I mean, it's just like, I think this is a great comment to make to my generation. I think we do a lot of like, our mindset's very like, if I can't do it, then I'm just not even going to touch it. I'm not even going to start it. But then once you get started, you can take baby steps. It's always better to just do something, a part of it, and just like, scratch at it. And then if I did those 2 verses in the morning, one morning, and then the next morning I can wake up a little earlier, I'll be encouraged to read 3 verses, 4 verses, So I think that's really good advice. And not
Something
just,
is better than nothing. Yeah.
exactly, something is better than nothing. And that's even in work, when we're working at our jobs and we just can't make time for a certain project that you were like put on real quick. At least taking bite sizes out of that too. It'll get you to the end goal, right?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nader, for being here and sharing your experiences and your perspective today. I really hope this conversation encourages at least one person to pursue their ambitions, but also stay true to their faith, their values in who they are. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to follow Launchpad EIC on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and as always, let us know in the comments who you'd like to hear from next. We'll see you in the next episode.